in my hand. Torture, war, the killing of 1 million civilians. And there's a war criminal speaking at this campus. Oh, that has a lot of substance to it. Go to hell. I mean, that's just an example. Go to hell, I don't care. That's an example of the epitome of this country, of arrogance and ignorance. And there's a group of people here today to say no. There are students that are graduating that are going to turn his back at Robert Gates because we have a responsibility. You aren't separate from this. Just like the good Germans weren't separate from Nazis dragging away Jews to concentration camps. It's not separate. This is a part of what you represent. This is what you stand for unless you oppose it. So people got to find out, who is Robert Gates? What has he done in the world?
Criminal.
People got to find out the fact that he's a war criminal, that he's been responsible for the killing of 1 million Iraqis. Oh, shut up, we're graduating. What about the graduations of the people in Iraq? You think your life is more important than other people's lives? Well, it's not. Wake up! Wake up! It's time to wake up, because there are students that are here today that don't think that that their lives are more important than other people's lives. Where are the graduation for the children that were killed in Iraq because of Robert Gates? Where's the ceremony and celebration for the people that are being tortured in Guantanamo, for the children that are there? There's a teenager that's being detained there who's been held there since he was 15 and now he's 20. He didn't get a graduation. So people got to confront what's real, what's going on. People got to understand the world, and this is a place, university is a place where you're supposed to critically think about the world, where you come into engaging reality as it actually is. But what's the point of getting an education if you don't use it to serve the people? What's the point of getting an education if you're only out to get it out for yourselves? There's a lot on this generation, there's a lot on the class that's graduating today. We are a generation coming into an era of endless war, of torture. We are a generation coming into being at a time when anti-abortion activists are killing abortion doctors, and birth control and abortion has been the less successful that it's been since 1973. And to think that you don't have a role to play in opposing this is just untrue. Every generation makes its mark on the world. Every generation goes down as something. You have the generation that laid down in front of the Nazis and let their neighbors be dragged away into concentration camps. You have the generation in Vietnam that rose up on campus universities against racism, where campus students actually raised up against the Vietnam War, where veterans rebelled in the military. How will this generation go down? Because every generation leaves its mark on the world. Will our mark be that we were sitting silent as a criminal, somebody who's killed civilians in Iraq, an illegal immoral war? Are we going to go down and sitting by and letting it go down and watching it and being quietly because we just want to enjoy our day? Or are we going to be in there turning our backs and saying we're going to go down and standing for something? We're going to go down as a generation that took the responsibility to stop all this. We're going to go down as a generation that refused to turn its head to what's going on. Because I want to talk about complicity. There's somebody who came up here today who said his daughter was graduating. And he came up here and he says, I want one of those orange ribbons. I want to take a stand about Robert Gates. I want to take a stand against Robert Gates. And he came up here and he got an orange ribbon. And he had moral clarity about what he was going to do today. He had moral clarity about what was he going to do as he sees this war criminal up on stage. What is he going to do when he sees that there's somebody on stage that's been responsible for torture and deaths of civilians? People should think about that. People got to confront, what are you going to do when there is a war criminal, a mass-mongering war criminal in your midst? Students at Stanford University, professors, students, and alumni stood up and did a banner drop against Condoleezza Rice. There is a movement of people that are not standing to the side. There is a movement of people that are not waiting it out. There's not a people who are saying, well, let's wait and see what Obama does. You know, people got to take responsibility to stop the crimes of their government. People got to know who Robert Gates is. Robert Gates was pivotal in the Iraq War, waging a 20,000 1,000 troops surge into Iraq. This is a war crime by international law. Now people say, well, Robert Gates didn't initiate the war, he didn't open up Guantanamo, but guess what? International law makes no differentiation between those who initiate illegal war and torture and those who carry it out. Just the same way that we don't differentiate between Hitler and the Nazis that carried out Hitler's orders. So people gotta think about this. People gotta confront what kind of world are you living in. People gotta confront what is your government doing to people all over the world. Because if you don't confront that, you allow it to happen, and you're complicit with it. You're going along with it. So maybe you think that you're separate from all these pictures. Maybe you think that, well, I don't really like that. I'm not for that. I just like this one. But unless you do something to stop it, unless you stand up against a war criminal that's in your midst, and you are going along with that. And what's the message that we want to send to the world today? What's the message we want to send to the people of Iraq when this guy who's been responsible for the deaths of millions